All right. So what are these gastric juices that I'm talking about? We said gastrin. We had these different phases of gastric secretions. We had said cephalic and gastric and intestinal, and a lot of it involved. Some of it was thought induced, meaning the thought of food, the sight of food, the smelling of food, cephalic, and then the gastric phase and the intestinal phase involved this hormone called gastrin, which we said caused the release of gastric juices. Well, what are these things? Well, in your stomach, you have this very convoluted surface area, and so it has this has what they call gastric pits, and so the gastric pits are made up of all these different kinds of cells. And each one of the different kinds of cells is going to secrete one of the components of gastric juice. And so we have a number of different kinds of cells. We have four of them that you're going to need to know. And first of all, when we talk about digestion and digestion of meat, well, why isn't the stomach digested? It's meat, right? It's tissue. Well, that's the reason that it is not digested is because one of the types of cells that is present there is something called a goblet cell. And goblet cells are going to secrete mucus, and this mucus lines the surface of the stomach and prevents it from being digested. Okay, so we have this layer of mucus that protects the stomach itself, and then what's out there doing the dirty deed, right? I mean, what is digesting? Well, we have chief cells. Chief cells are going to secrete something called pepsinogen, and pepsinogen is going to be an enzyme that digests proteins. So we had said, in your mouth you have amylase that starts the process of digesting carbohydrates. In your mouth you have a little bit of lipase that starts the digestion of lipids, the fats. Well, here in the stomach we're saying, all right, so now we've got, this is going to be the primary site of protein digestion. That's one of the major functions of the stomach, is to digest that protein. And the protein is going to be digested by pepsin. Now, wait a minute. I said chief cells secrete pepsinogen. That's where the acid comes in. You may have heard, you may be aware that your stomach has a very low pH. The pH of your stomach is 2. That's very acidic. And now, why is it so acidic? It's because we have another kind of a cell, a parietal cell, that secretes hydrochloric acid. And why do you secrete hydrochloric acid? To activate pepsinogen into pepsin. Pepsin is going to start digesting proteins. We have this activated enzyme, pepsin, that is working on the proteins. We had said in the gastric phase of gastric secretions, we said the stomach secretes gastrin. Well, we have enteroendocrine cells that are going to be secreting gastrin. And then we just mention, we don't say any particular cell, but we just mention that we are going to continue with the digestion of lipids because we also have lipases present being released into the digestive juices, the gastric juices that are found in your stomach. All right, so in your stomach, we're going to be doing all this digestion, but we had said, what's it all about? It's all about absorption of nutrients, right? So, what's going on in your stomach? This is the first place where we talk about absorption. Water. you're going to start absorbing some of the water from the food, some of the salts, some lipid-soluble drugs, and if you're a drinker, alcohol. Alcohol is absorbed in your stomach. Okay? All right, we'll stop here and I'll pick up the next one.